So we're trying to make a world campfire, a global campfire, for everyone to be able to gather around, and we're trying to... Welcome to the news, by the way. Stay to the end to find out how we get there. So we're trying to mimic WeWork, the global place that people work at, and also like camping, like a global campfire, basically, and combining the two things, the WeWorking mentality and like a campfire situation where the world can collaborate with each other, in essence, because of like a simple mindset that doesn't necessarily relate to borders. It doesn't necessarily relate to countries, and ideally not necessarily related to politics at the same time. It's more revolves around the real estate industry. And so there's a combination between office spaces and commercial real estate, and like people that go camping and pay to do something called glamping on Airbnb, for example, where they go outside and have experiences and such things. So the basis is, even though this sounds basic, and oh, by the way, we're trying to like conceptualize making music on stage and combining DJing with like something similar to just using a laptop as the control board for like DJing, more or less, and like making that way, being able to try to make live sound as opposed to having to try to program in existing sound and such things, and like combining the essence of live making in sound and music with a live sort of collaborative way, and then also the pre-existing DJ technology, the DJ setup to be able to develop a DJ set. Oh yeah, sorry for the segue. Back to the other thing. So we're talking about, that was a word from our sponsor called Dinky Tech, and music making, hopefully for the future. Anyway, yeah, so it's just kind of a basic concept. Realistically, it just seems pretty basic after all, and it's very difficult to do, easier said than done. So typically it relates to like countries. It's typically something that's obviously very, very often done. It's just like people that have cooperatives, people that have collectives inside of countries. Usually people that meaning that they'll have communal spaces and experiences where they make a house and they all split the bills, right? They make a house and many people live there, and then people split the bills. And this is similar to co-working in WeWork. WeWork is in essence the same thing. It's like WeWork is an idea where everybody in the world can work together, and they also have the ability to leverage the office spaces at WeWork. And if enough people, because the base foundation is in place for WeWork right now, so if they needed more office space, they could just acquire more office space if they needed to continue to grow. They've stood the test of time as a business through a lot of issues and encounters. WeWork, the office space experience, which just means that like they have at least found a base financial process that's functional to be able to continue to exist as a business. And the basis is they always have free coffee, they always have free accommodations in this way to work in any of their office spaces 24 hours a day all around the world. And this is co-working. And this is also something that is a membership that's like $300 a month, and it corresponds to being able to use corporate offices, if it's still that price, I think, the last time I checked, and it's unlimited to work around the world 100% of the time, 365 days of the year, and 24 hours a day. And this allows you to have unlimited coffee and tea, and have this process where it's more or less an open forum connection to all this office space 100% of the time. And so we're just taking the same mindset, because like I was talking about, things being available within countries, like that's not how whole countries operate. And the purpose of talking about this in this podcast is to simplify the essence of real estate for the world, the whole world. Because if we have a collective for the whole world, where we're talking about expansively to have like co-living is an opportunity in the real estate markets in of itself that is coming up in terms of popularity. Because in terms of renting out, developing renting scenarios, like it's just more functional, because people go in and out like hotels, but they also stay for longer term times. So it's a combination of like people having to manage properties that are single family homes and just one family and this and that, to where it's less functional in terms of a longer term timeline, and it's less ideal to manage because it's less of a profit and less rewards. Now on the flip side, if we have the whole world that's conceptually collaborating in something, because there's no laws, there's no international laws, there's no country laws, that make it against the law to be able to globally collaborate on a global communal space and experience in the real estate markets. And I don't even think of it as political necessarily. It's not meant to be political. It's meant to be a real estate play that everybody in the world can try to benefit from, so that everyone in the world can collectively be part of a communal experience. And you can call it taxes, you can call it a world tax, but it's not meant to be like politically associated. It's just meant to correspond to real estate and a global community where the globe can connect and have a real estate process where everybody can be fed and everybody can have real estate around them 100% of the time, 365 days of the year, because the whole world pays into this tax process. And it's also just like a global collaboration. It's just kind of that simple. And like, if there was just an understanding, a collective, an interest to be able to everyone focus on this one destination of trying to fulfill food and then like real estate, so everybody's lives in the whole world can benefit from one global like connection and one global collaborative connective similar alignment in terms of an agreed upon agreement to share in global real estate, then the power of that is more significant than I think anybody would necessarily have the ability to foreshadow based on the derivative mindset and concept taken from the way that the world works right now, and the essence of how much strain and stress and how problematic it is to be able to leverage for everyone to have to deal with their own real estate in this world. And it's like, it's not even necessarily the same as multifamily conceptually housing, where like people have a housing association and benefits and perks from this type of a setup, which does come from multifamily real estate, because there's a collective, there's a collection of global rule, or excuse me, not global, but of a group mindset, and there are benefits to this. But anything on a global scale, where everybody in the world cross borders, where people just can connect arms and connect hands and unite across borders to do anything, any given thing, any given global collaboration, it's similar to Airbnb. And that's why I kind of talked about it in the beginning as like a camping Airbnb, camping WeWork situation. Like, we're talking about WeWork and we're also talking about camping, because we want the world to come together on a campfire, at a campfire. And a lot of Airbnbs, for example, just use a piece of land and then they get people to have fancy tents so that they camp and they pay just like they would to stay at a hotel. So the same, like a hotel costs a lot of, dollars to sustain and maintain, whereas a piece of land takes less time to sustain. But the prices are the same, because people want the same experience. People want to sleep outside. People want to go camping, and they're willing to pay for it. And people also share another person's land to be able to camp on that, and they therefore are sharing in the expense of that person's land. And this same mindset can scale to the world. Like that's what I'm saying. I shouldn't have even taken 10 minutes to record this podcast, because that mindset is meant to scale to the world. The mindset is meant to scale to the world, that everyone can share in a global real estate and food play, where everyone can just have inclusive, just basic benefits to make that happen. And it's really also about coming together at the campfire. It's like the WeWork campfire connection for a global collaboration, because I don't think there's any laws among all of international law that prevents every human in the world from collaborating with each other on their own world government, on their own world connective real estate play, real estate process, where everyone in the world looks out for each other based upon having a fund that just seems to make enough sense so that everybody doesn't have to deal with it. And like eventually it could be robots sustaining or maintaining all the real estate in the world necessarily. But it's not about having to deal with the fine print and the fine-tooth nail combs of all of the paperwork and the details involved in real estate, and all of the necessities to just keep everything fluid and functional in a real estate business and such things, because it's not meant to be about that. It's meant to house people. It's meant to give people an option to just stay comfortable and or sheltered while they can then try to better themselves one way or another. And yes, there could be separate like places where people live, but there should be a global agreement of just ways to connect and take care of each other's basic needs. And it really, honestly, I shouldn't have even taken 10 minutes to record all this. I should have just spat it out in like 3 minutes and just been done with it. But it is what it is. That's the basis, is a global WeWork conceptualization times the campfire methodology as well, because we're going from office buildings to sharing on land, to sharing in land and camping together on land, which is similar to like music festivals anyways. People pay a lot of money to go to music festivals and they camp outside and go have fun. So this is also a full circle mindset to bring the world together as children, to bring the world somehow together as children, to try to connect by everybody paying for everyone else's real estate. And everyone, just like at a music festival, is paying for everyone else's real estate, a temporary use of the campgrounds, by having a global collective that takes care of everyone, and having a global collection of these processes that span the world. So every person in the world pays into this, just like Airbnb, because surreptitiously everyone's paying into Airbnb around the world, because everyone's paying to take care of their own properties and sustain them in their own separate way. But everyone's separate. Everyone's got to upkeep their own properties and real estate processes on their own. Whereas if it was the flip side, and everybody in the world was Airbnb, and everybody in the world paid for everybody else's real estate, then therefore food could also be secondary and paid for by everybody in the world, because we can also manufacture, find ways to significantly manufacture food in the future, whether it's 3D printing or whatever, but hopefully it's vegan, so we don't have to hurt animals in the future. That's just what I feel like about that personally. And manufacture proteins, manufacture meats, in other words, at the same time, to keep animals, in good shape. And that's about it. Just everybody in the world getting to camp together. Everybody in the world getting to camp together, and also use office buildings for co-living spaces, because co-living is a trend and real estate is on the rise. And yeah, hopefully we can start DJing a little bit from our laptops in the future and make some interesting, fun music sound experiences in the future as well. So that's all for now, and we'll make the world like that, I guess you could say. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Dinky Tech, Dinky T, and C for G.
And let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's all remember to push for world peace every single day. Let's push for world peace every single day. And also, let's remember to try to clear the animal shelters. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world. Let's clear all the animal shelters in the world, because we can foster all the shelter animals. We can adopt all the shelter animals in the world. We can rescue all the shelter animals in the world. And we can also hire the shelter animals as healers. We can also hire the shelter animals as healers all throughout the world, so that they don't have to be mistreated in animal shelters. And we can clear the animal shelters, and we can hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities. Hire the shelter animals as healers throughout our communities, because they also work for free, and they could use better purpose and use better jobs and be able to add value and be therapeutic energy for humans and humanity, to help us be more harmonious as humans and among humanity for all the animals in the world, to clear all the animal shelters, to try to get them to transition their energy in terms of therapeutic energy to all humans, so we can clear the animal shelters to add value to humanity in terms of harmony if possible. And let's push for world peace every single day and clear the animal shelters every day. That's all for now. Thanks again, Dinky Tech and Change for Game Studios. Bye. Peace. Bye.